Hello and welcome back. I'm Randy Newbert from VoodooFX. In today's video, we'll be going over Edison Filament wire. So let's get started. Okay, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about this new Edison filament wire, or we like to call it noodle wire or spaghetti wire, and its pluses and minuses in using it in application for modeling, and or using it in a prop or whatever you're going to be doing for application. I'm going to be showing it hooked up and lit so you can get an idea of what the outputs are. And again, I think I'm going to go through and kind of go through the pros and cons about using this material and what I like about it and what I don't like about it. So here we go. Okay, so here we have this Edison filament uh, LED wire, and just to kind of show you what this material is like, it's a highly flexible silicone encased microstrip of LEDs. As far as flexibility goes, this is a very flexible material, and it runs off kind of an odd voltage range, but overall, it puts a lot of output as far as light goes. And these ones, the silicone comes colored, and both in this scenario, I have a green one here. This is the one that's hooked up right currently. And then this one's the red one. And I'll hook both of them up to show you kind of the intensity of the light overall. But again, these are highly flexible. They can be churned and moved in all sorts of different positions. They require 3 volts forward to run them. And the output of them is quite incredible. So let me show you with full light on. I'm going to turn on this green one, and you can kind of get an idea of the glow of what this one looks like. And this is a shorter version of the material. This is the 300 millimeter version, which is I think the longest that this one comes in. And this one I think is the shortest version that you can get. Now, the cool thing about this is look at the output of the light. It's just intense. I mean, for what you're using this for and for how small it is and everything, the output is just awesome as far as the light output goes. You can really get that really flat, good-looking light out of it. I'm going to try quickly just to shut down the light, see if this might help a little more, kind of give you a better idea of how the glow is. Again, it is very well, very bright, and puts out a lot of even flat light. So if you're looking for even flat light, boy, this is the ticket to doing for the right application. And again, I'm going to hook up the red one here so you can see this one too. So let me close this one off, and I'm going to turn back on the light, and let me re-hook up this other one. It indicates on each side of this wire, there's a very small micro hole you can see that's in the tab where they're going to be soldered on with wire. And that indicates that it's the positive side. And then obviously on the opposite side is negative. So here, let me set this one up. Okay, so I'm going to turn on the red now. And here we go. And I don't know how well you can see the red, but it's quite bright. This is a much longer piece, so it's not going to be as intense as the other one because it's a shorter. The other one was a shorter run, and again, this is only running off 3 volts, so this is just a couple of batteries, AA batteries hooked up onto the wire. And again, let me shut down the light a little bit, and then maybe that'll kind of show you kind of what the intensity of the glow is. You can kind of see it against the background of my hand. It is a very bright and intense light for the application. And again, since it's flexible, you can make it into shapes, which makes it for application wise very very good for application and putting it into a place where you need to go, that you have to churn it or bend it or make a curve. You just really can't go wrong with this stuff. Now, there is a couple things that I'm going to go through in the end of the video about the cons and the pros about how this material operates. And one of the biggest issues that I have with it, and again, not to downplay the usability of the product, but it does have a couple of things that features in it that need to be brought into play and thought about when they're going into application. So let me turn the light back on. And again, I just kind of wanted to show what the ease of how this stuff is hooked up. Again, the positive side comes in on one side, and then it runs all the way back into the negative side, and that's what completes the cycle for the power. So I'm going to cut back to another shot. I just wanted to show you what it looks like in live application. And also, what is kind of cool is if you need to run these in, like you had a whole bunch of different ones and you need to put them together, you had a couple different colors. And they do come in multiple colors, so you can get them in blue, green, warm white, red. I think there's kind of a yellow or an amber that they have. And so you do have a little bit of selection of color. But again, you can just daisy chain another one on to the negative side there, to the positive side, and you can just run them in. You can run them all together if that's what you're after for. So anyway, so let me wrap this up, and I kind of want to go over the pros and cons of this, and without boring you too much, and let me move on to the next segment and finish this video off. Okay, so after concluding what I've shown you with the material, I want to go over kind of a list of things that are a short list of things that A, I like about the material, and B, I don't like about the material. So on the pro side, first of all, as you can see, the light is extremely bright and has a lot of nice flat lighting and very punchy effect. Second of all, I like the availability of flexibility. It can be pushed and shaped into any shape you really need to get it into an area that's tight. As far as that goes, it gets an A+ in that area. And third of all, one of the pros that I like about it is that it relatively is a simple application to use. You connect power, positive on one side, negative on the other. So it's very user friendly as far as you don't have to go through any weird configurations. You could use a resistor if you needed to throttle it down or step down the voltage or other ways of controlling it, but otherwise that's kind of that's a plus in for my book. As far as application goes, application is good due to its size and for its output. So overall, in the pro areas, I give it a B plus overall. Okay, so now let's talk about the cons. So the one con that is probably the most bothersome is that it runs in an odd voltage. It's only running off 3 volts. So if you have a complex system, you're trying to do a lot of lighting with it, and you've got other applications going on, say it's a custom light or something that's going to be like an on lighting, or there's an effect or something like that, usually they require anywhere between 5 volts to 9 volts. So this becomes quite a problem with having the odd voltage of 3 volts forward. Now, if you're going into application and that's all you're going to be doing is lighting it up with a little bit of batteries, or a pair of batteries at 3 volts, well, then I think you're good to go. And it shouldn't be, any trouble at that point. Okay, so number 2 on the list is there is a lot of heat exchange, especially where the wire connectors meet, both the positive and the negative side, more towards the positive side. They tend to get pretty warm. So on a on a negative note, I don't like the heat output. So the heat output becomes kind of an issue or a problem. If it's maintained right and controlled right, the heat shouldn't be too much of a factor. But again, it does put out quite a large amount of heat from the connection points. And the wire itself, believe it or not, is gets pretty warm as well too, especially if it's left on for long period of application. Now you could run it off a DC jack or something like that, or a DC power supply where you have a constant like a wall wart. But again, single application with a battery, fine. It shouldn't be a problem with that. Okay, so third of all, and one of my probably biggest complaints about it is it's not cuttable. So if you have excess wire or it's too long, you have to wind up the wire or put it away somewhere else and cover it up, because you can't cut this stuff. It's not like strip or LED, strip lines where you can cut the wires every third LED. This stuff, you have to buy it to length, and if it's too long or too short, or obviously if it's too long, you'll wind up the extra wire somewhere else and hide it. If it's too short, you have to go with a longer wire in order to make up the application where you're going to need to go. So overall, on the con side of it, I kind of give it probably a C as far as that application goes. And again, the fact is that since it's an odd voltage, it puts out a lot of heat, and it's not really cuttable. These are kind of negative factors as far as using the material goes. Now, in the right application, I think that it could be used in either way. But again, we're talking application. So if you're using it in a situation where you've got good ventilation, you've got good air circulation through there, this is going to help reduce the heat. This won't be a problem and won't be disastrous. If you're running them, basically in an area where it's very confined, it's going to build up a lot of heat and get really hot real fast. So it's not that it's got a lot of output. You would think that it would have lower output, but in this case, it does put out quite a substantial amount of heat. So again, overall, I think I can give the product, for modeling and for prop usage, somewhere, in the area of, let's just call it a B rating. It would not be my first go-to for every application, but in the right circumstances, this material could work very well, again, in the right scenario. So anyway, so that's the end of my video, and please subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. And again, keep bringing any new material to me, and anything you want to review, we would love to have it aboard on our channel. And we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.